welcome everybody on the live stream here as we get set up here. Want to make sure everything works if you are already on the live stream. About 12 minutes until kickoff.
Hartford,
yes.
Yeah.
I assume, Zach.
Yeah.
Oh, we haven't moved.
Yeah, we haven't. We can zoom it out.
I can ask. We'll tell Ken Chambers.
We can get that flag taken down. Okay.
Okay.
Hey, Ken Chambers. Ken, can you take that flag down? Hey, take that flag down. That flag, just that one.
Mark, we can go on whenever. Right before you got to put Larry on, just go ahead and play our intro. And all right. Good.
A little cool, but we're good.
That's pretty nice up here.
Yeah.
Everybody on this live. Well, I bet you he's probably thinking Friday night.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, everybody join us on the live stream here. Kickoff in about 9 minutes. Thanks, everybody, for joining us as we're fixing to get set up here on the radio. We'll be going live on the radio here in just a little bit. Stick around on the live stream. Hartford comes to town.
Get a little pre.
Sure.
Yeah, whenever.
Welcome, everybody, to Miles Field here in St. Paul, Kansas. Dan Vitt alongside Mike McCracken. Glad to bring you tonight's opening round of the playoff games. They call this Week 9, where tonight our undefeated St. Paul Indians come in undefeated on the season 8-0, improving that record to 8-0 last Friday night. We're going to go ahead and we'll stick here, but the national anthem is going to be played. So everybody stick around as we will starting off on our pregame show. Well, welcome back, everybody, at Miles Field here in St. Paul, where St. Paul comes in on the night, undefeated on the season. Welcome Hartford to town. Hartford comes in with a 3-5 record.
Jaguars of Hartford High School. The winner of this contest is advanced to the regional playoff game on Friday.
As there's about 6 minutes until kickoff. Week 9 here. St. Paul improved to an 8-0, won their district. They already had the district wrapped up before last weekend, but St. Paul welcomes Hartford to town. Hartford is the number 4 seed in District 2, and they came in to play this Week 9 where the St. Paul tried to extend their season on tonight. St. Paul just a little bit banged up. Wilson Smith still not suited out. See Adam Albertini, a good sign having him back out there. Got his left knee wrapped up a little bit, but sounds like he's okay, and he ought to be good to go here tonight, Mike.
Yeah, good to see Adam back dressed out. I know that he was really, upset with himself and upset that he got that little knee ding up there last week, and he's been really working on rehabbing it. I know the next day, even in that night, he had the ice on it and was doing everything he could to get himself back in playing shape, and kept off of it and rested it up good and got it wrapped up a little bit tonight. But talked to someone before the game that had spoken with Adam that said that I think it feels pretty good. Feels like he can run on it. Feels like he should be able to cut okay, and I think he's going to be all right, hopefully.
He took a helmet to the knee on his score. Well, he knocked out of bounds towards the goal line last week and got a helmet to the knee. So just a little knee bruise, or not just a little knee bruise. He was pretty sore. Didn't play the rest of the game. St. Paul able to finish off that game and a handily victory for the Indians to finish the season. Now roll right into playoffs. So good sign for the Indians rolling right along here. We'll see what kind of start. Cold night here in St. Paul on Miles Field. It is about 30 degrees here at game time. Supposed to get below freezing again here tonight, Mike, but a little bit of sleet last night during the night, but melted off during the day, so the field looks good.
Yeah, field looks like it's in good shape. It might be a little soggy, especially in certain parts of the low parts down in the corners, but overall the grass turned brown, but it's still thick enough and looks good, so hopefully that's not going to be a factor.
I want to thank everybody for joining us on the live stream. This live stream brought to you by Farmers Bank. Go see Joe and Josh for all your needs tonight. For a while, at least anyway, on the radio, we're going to be commercial free, Mike, just like the big time. So Mike's going to be thanking our sponsors throughout, and if we don't take very many breaks, well, we're a little shorthanded back in the studio. Humboldt plays tonight, so a lot of local football games in Week 9 playing on Thursday night. And then I know Larry went to Humboldt, so Humboldt Cubs rolling their way into the playoffs. And then tomorrow night, Larry calls a game at Chanute, Mike.
Yeah, it's a busy week. Definitely the playoffs are here, and we're excited to be part of it. This Thursday night game sometimes, throws people off a little bit, but that's kind of the way it's always been, first round of the playoffs being on Thursday. I know some of the teams have opted either because of travel time or whatever else reasons, they've moved some of the games to Friday, so they're not all tonight. But like you said, Larry's going to be busy over there at Humboldt, and he's got Chanute tomorrow night, and we've got St. Paul tonight, and hopefully we're all going to come out of here ahead.
As they go to midfield for – they already did the coin toss, but they're going to finish it up here. As, maybe they didn't. I thought earlier they'd got the captains together, but maybe they just went over the rules. I think they did already do the coin toss. Now they're just going to make it official. Hartford is going to receive the opening kickoff here. We're still about 2.5 minutes till kickoff. We'll see if they go ahead and start a couple minutes earlier, if they stick to the schedule here, as each team goes to their sidelines for final instructions.
Yeah, if you remember, I don't know if you mentioned it, Dan, I was trying to get the camera set up, but you remember Hartford came to St. Paul last year, this same situation, first round of the playoffs. St. Paul came out ahead on that game by a score 62-14, I believe.
We're going to take a short break before kickoff here. We'll take a 30-second timeout. You're listening to St. Paul football on Hot 105. Yeah, just a 30 mark. Getting ready for kickoff. Then we should be good for a little while after that break. So. Welcome back to Miles Field as St. Paul will start kicking off here. Hartford back to receive the opening kick as we are set to get underway in Week 9 here. Excitement in the air here on Halloween night.
Going to put St. Paul's defense to the test right off the bat here and see if they're going to be able to get out there and stand up against this Hartford offense, who's played a tough schedule this season, and we'll see how that measured up here just as soon as we get started after the kickoff.
High driving kick by Murillo, going to be taken by Hartford about the 3-yard line. Return off to the right, now cuts back to the left. Got a Bradshaw boy down there trying to knock him down, and he's going to run out of bounds about the 15-yard line. So it'll be about the same as a touchback. First and 10 for Hartford Jaguars at the 15. I think that was McDiffett on the return for Hartford. See, St. Paul's defense gets set here. See if they can set a tone early on. Ethan Stoneking at nose guard. Ivan Murillo left defensive end with the absence of Wilson Smith. Gib Carter at the right defensive end. Linebackers is Chase Bradshaw and Easton Dent. Cornerbacks Chandler Bradshaw and Hayden Smith. Free safety is Adam Albertini. Hartford is in the pistol to start the game. Can't see numbers very good to start the game. It's going to be a handoff off the left side. Ball's loose! And it's going to be recovered by Hartford, and it's going to be a loss on the play. So a good start for the Indians defense back to the 11-yard line. It'll be second down and 14 for the Jaguars back at their own 11-yard line. Staying on Mike's cord there.
Numbers are hard to see with those jerseys.
In Hartford in the pistol. 3 slot receivers to the right. Quarterback is a single back set in the pistol. Here comes the snack. He stands about the 6-yard line. Number 14 on the carry off the right side, trying to make some momentum. Is going to get back to the line of scrimmage. That is Soul with the carry, the sophomore. And it's going to bring up a big third down and 11. Give him a gain of 3, Mike, on the play. And here comes third and 11 for the Jaguars. Just underway here in St. Paul at Miles Field. 10:55 left to go here in the first period. No score. Opening drive by Hartford. And they're going to split a receiver to the right and left. Big back in the backfield, Mike. In the pistol is a quarterback. In motion from left to right is Soul. Back to pass is number 3. Looking. Now he's going to scramble. Now he drops back. He's under pressure. And Chandler Bradshaw knocks him out of bounds about the 14-yard line. Good hit by Bradshaw. Coming up and knocking the quarterback, number 3, Smith, out of bounds. It's going to be fourth down and 11.
Good coverage there by the St. Paul defensive backs. Didn't have anyone to throw to, and he had plenty of time. They strung him out to the sideline, though, got him out of bounds. Good defense.
That time Smith dropped back into quarterback position. He must be the passing quarterback. Number 10 in punt formation is McDiffett, the junior. Back deep is Adam Albertini. So far he's played all facets of the game to start this game, so he must be feeling good. There's a motion by Hartford. That's going to back him up 5 yards. It's going to be fourth down and 16. They'll back him up to their 9-yard line. It looks like maybe Hartford taking a timeout here,
they
Mike.
Waved off the flag, I think.
Huh.
Picked it up.
How do you wave off an illegal procedure?
Picked up the flag and waved it off, stuck it back in.
They did spot the ball back at the 14, so it remains 4th and 11. Timeout, Hartford. We'll go ahead and stay here.
Well, they're discussing it now.
About 9:53 left to go here in the first period.
Looks like this is going to be a timeout.
Okay, well, we'll go ahead and stay here. Sorry about that, Mark. I didn't know you was back there. We're going to stay here. Hartford back on the field on the fourth down and 11. In punt formation is McDiffett. Back deep is Adam Albertini. He stands at his own 35-yard line. He has time. McDiffett gets it off. It's a poor punt. Goes out of bounds. It lands in the bleachers. That is going to be a net gain of about 8-yard punt on the play. St. Paul has a wonderful field position to start this drive, Mike, at the Hartford 22-yard line.
Yeah, that's just what St. Paul needs, a good defensive stand and now get really good field position deep in Hartford territory and really put the pressure on early and you get points on the board on this drive.
McDiffett trying to keep that ball away from Albertini. He did a good job of it, but kicked it straight out of bounds. In the pistol is Albertini. Set to his left is Easton Dent. Dent with a handoff. Right side, a lot of running room. There he goes. Touchdown, Indians. One play.
One play,
and
one
the Indians
score.
get on the board. 22-yard run by Easton Dent, coming off a monster game last week.
The two-headed monster down there for St. Paul with Dent and Albertini now.
The Indians lead 6-0, off to a good fast start here at Miles Field. 9:44 left to go in the first. 6-0 Indians lead. Chandler Bradshaw hustles in from the sideline with the play. Stone King up over the football. Gib Carter right guard. Ivan Murillo left guard. Bunch set to the right. Albertini is in the pistol all alone. Loses the football, still losing, now picks it up, and he's going to walk into the end zone. Nobody touching him, nobody even close, and the Indians lead 8-0. We'll be back after this 1-minute timeout. You're listening to St. Paul football on Hot 105. St. Paul leads 8-0. Murillo's kickoff taking it to 5 by McDiffett. McDiffett up to the 10, 15, across the 15, almost up to the 20-yard line as Kaiser Watrick goes flying across the field. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Jaguars at their own 20-yard line. St. Paul defense with a good stand. 3 and out for Hartford on their first drive. See if the defense can keep the momentum. One play, one offensive touchdown, 22-yard run for Easton Dent on the first play from scrimmage for the Indians.
Took a grand total of 5 seconds for the Indians to get points on the board.
Smith in the pistol. Wide to the left is Soul. 3-bunch receiver to the right. Smith waits the snap back at his own 15. He's going to keep it off the right side. He's got a little bit of run room. Now Murillo, good spin move, keeps his momentum going. He's going to have a gain of 3 or 4 on the play. Give him a gain of 3, 2nd down and 7 for the Jaguars up to the 24-yard line. Second down and 7 from their own 24. 9-12 left to go in the first. Indians lead 8-0. I want to apologize for last week's broadcast over the radio. I think we had a little cell phone issue.
I think we had a lot of problems.
A lot of problems. Live stream went good.
Live stream were good.
But I think it was on our end. I hope it's better tonight. Smith in the pistol. Back to pass. Looking across the middle. Now back to the right. He's going to throw it deep. Has a man. And I think they lost the football was Bradshaw. And it's going to be complete down to McDiffett at the 21-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Jaguars down to the Indians' 21. Bradshaw was right there, but he acted like he had no idea where the football was, and it went right over his head into McDiffett's arms, and he promptly tackled him on the spot. So the big first down for Hartford. Smith in the pistol, set to his right is another Smith, Devin Smith, a sophomore. 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Now motion from right to left is Soul. Back to pass. Now he's going to scramble towards his right. Got a lot of running room if he wants to go. Now throws it late, and it's picked off by Chandler Bradshaw. Bradshaw picks it off and goes down at the Indians' 5-yard line.
Make up for that big pass play.
He picked up his brother there as Chandler picks off that pass. And it's going to be 1st and 10 for the Indians. Oh, wait a minute. Now it's.
Was there a flag?
No, it's going to be 1st and 10 for the Indians. Ball is spotted. There was a flag. It was declined by the Indians. It must have been holding against Hartford. If we don't see the yellow flag, this dead Bermuda field, or the
Yeah.
Bermuda has died, and it's brown, it's kind of hard to see a flag out there. It's got a little bit of rye. Kent Davis does a great job. Field's in great condition, but Bermuda this time of year, especially with our early cold weather, has went dormant. Bermuda stands up real good to a lot of traffic. Indians out on offense for the second position. Pinned deep in their own territory. Two receivers wide to the right. Albertini in the pistol. Now Dent goes in motion out of the running back position. Albertini's going to roll to his right. Rolls. Throws it complete to Chase Bradshaw up to the 22. Good pass and catch from Albertini up to Bradshaw. Good start with the passing game for the Indians. Albertini connects up to the 22. It'll be first and 10 for the Indians. Ball spotted at their own 22-yard line. Albertini had some running room around that right side if he wanted to take off, but he stuck with the rollout and found Bradshaw on the crossing pattern. In the pistols, Albertini set to his right is Easton Dent. Here comes the snap. Dent with a handoff to the left side gets stripped up. He gets positive yardage. He's going to have a gain of 2 or 3 on the play. It'll be second down and 8. Let's call it second and 7. Ball now spotted at the 24-yard line. Indians own 24-yard line. 7:40 left to go in the first period. Indians lead 8-0. In the pistol is Albertini. Bunch set to the right. Albertini takes the snap. He's going to run first time tonight. Off to the right side, down the sideline, steps out of bounds. Forced out of bounds about the 37-yard line. First and 10 for the Indians from their own 37. 13-yard carry for Albertini.
Adam looked pretty good on that carry. Didn't look like that knee's bothering him so far.
First and 10 for the Indians from their own 37. Chandler Bradshaw, Hayden Smith splits wide to the right. In the pistol is Albertini. Set to his left is Easton Dent. Dent goes in motion, and that's going to be procedure on Chase Bradshaw off that left tight end position. It's going to back the Indians up 5 yards. It'll make it first and 15 for the Indians, now backed up to the 32-yard line. Their own 32-yard line. Just a beautiful night for football, Mike. It's a little cold for the fans in the
Sky cleared
stands.
off, got cold.
But just a great night for the boys to play here after the few nasty days in a row we had. Albertini rolls out to his right. He's going to throw across the middle. Has Bradshaw down there. And Hayden Smith knocked it away from Chase Bradshaw. I'm not sure who that was intended for, but Bradshaw and Hayden Smith both ended up right at the football. Smith stuck his hand up, knocked it away, and it looked like it was going to fall right in the arms of Chase Bradshaw if Hayden wouldn't have touched it. But it falls harmlessly incomplete. Second down and 15 from their own 37-yard line. Indians come up to the line of scrimmage. In the pistol is Albertini. Set to his left is Dent. Two receivers wide to the right, Chandler Bradshaw and Hayden Smith. Dent goes in motion again. Now he reverses back to his left. Albertini cuts. Good cut. There he goes. 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown. Indians.
No flags on the field. 32.
That will be a 47-yard touchdown run by Adam Albertini. Looked good on that carry as he started to his left, cut back off that left, and went back to the right and all the way into the end zone, untouched. And Indians take a 14-0 lead. 6:52 left to go here in the first period. Pending the extra point, Stone King up to the line of scrimmage. In the pistols, Albertini. Set to his right is Easton Dent. Here comes the snap. It's a handoff to Dent off the left side. He bulls his way towards the goal line and in there. Extra point is good. St. Paul leads 16-0, 6:52 left to go here in the first period. We'll be back after this 1-minute timeout. Let's St. Paul football on Hot 105. Welcome back to Miles Field. St. Paul leads 16-0 over the Hartford Jaguars. Drive and kick by Murillo, taken by Solbach at the 4. Or McDiffit, excuse me. Up to the 10, 15, 20. Cuts to the right. He's going to be ripped down there by Bradshaw. Ball comes out, and it's loose.
I don't think
See who got back on it. Easton Dent's pointing the Indians' way, but we're not sure yet. And it is a live ball. It's going to be Hartford. They got back on it as I seen Chandler Bradshaw reach in there and rip that football out. Chase Bradshaw gets off the bottom of the pile, but Hartford has the football. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Jaguars at their own 24-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Jaguars. 6:42 left to go in the first. 16-0 Indians lead early on. One receiver wide to the left is Soul. In the pistol is Smith. 2 receivers split wide to the right. A running back to his right. Back to pass is Smith. Looking to his left now. Rolls to his right. Throws late. Short. Incomplete. Well short of any intended receiver. I think it was intended for Soul. He was in the area, but it was well short of him. On this cold night, it's going to be hard to grip football, Mike.
Yeah, it is.
2nd down and 10 for Hartford. Smith comes from the sideline with the play. Area team starting playoff tonight. 2 receivers wide to the right, 2 to the left. Smith in the pistol, all by himself. Back to pass. Going to throw a quick pass out to the left, well over the head of the intended receiver. Soul tried a little slip screen pass to the wide receiver, but it went over the head of Soul. It's going to bring 3rd down and 10 for the Jaguars. Pinned back at their own 24.
Hartford showing some respect for that defensive line of St. Paul, choosing to try and throw the ball rather than run it. So credit to the line.
6:34 left to go in the first. Clock stopped. 2 incomplete passes in a row. 16-0 Indians lead. Up to the line of scrimmage comes the Jaguars. 2 receivers wide to the right, 1 to the left. Smith is in the pistol. Back to pass is Smith. Got a lot of time now under pressure. Rolls to his left. Now here comes Gibb Carter in chase, and Gibb rips him down at the 26-yard line. Gibb was getting up towards his shoulder pads, but he grabbed him by the back of the jersey. Just a gain of 2 on the play. Good hustle by Carter on chase with Smith. It'll be 4th down. Actually, a gain of 1 on the play. It'll be 4th down and 9. And we're going to have another timeout. Timeout by Hartford. With that timeout, we'll take a 30-second timeout. You're listening to St. Paul football on Hot 105. We'll go ahead and stay here. 4th down and 9 when we come back from the timeout. 6:05 left to go here in the first period. Indians lead 16-0. We got Mark running back and forth in the studio like a chicken with his head cut off. So we never know if he's going to be there, but we're going to keep calling for commercials and try to get some sponsor commercials in. We appreciate all our sponsors. St. Paul plays at home tonight, as you know, here at Miles Field. Hartford comes to town. Hartford.
There's a flag. I don't know. Looks like the coach is over there maybe talking to the referee when he shouldn't be. He ought to be talking to the team, I think. 'Cause I think they're going to mark off a penalty against Hartford.
Each team is huddled up around their coach and well into the timeout. 2 flags go in the air at the same time.
Sure did.
During the timeout, I believe it's going to be unsportsmanlike conduct on the coach.
You don't see a lot of
Hartford
flags thrown during the timeout, Dan, but we saw one there.
It's going to be a big penalty, 15-yard penalty. I don't think St. Paul knows what's going on. They was in a huddle around Coach Watrick, and
So, wait a
next
minute.
thing they know, it's a loss of 15. Coach Watrick's looking around like, what in the world's going on here? Anyway, 15-yard unsportsmanlike. They didn't even
signal us.
Didn't even signal the call, but standing back at his own 2-yard line is Soul. Not sure what your coach is upset about.
Did the ball go? It's at the 7, isn't it? Or the 9? Where's it at?
The ball is
Oh, they're going.
the ball is spotted at the 9-yard line.
9,
Hartford
yeah.
at their own 9-yard line. Soul stands at his own 2, awaiting the snap. 4th down and a train ride. This time a good punt. Albertini's going to take it on the fly. He catches it under pressure, gets it right, off to his right, now back to the left. One man to beat. 20, 15, 10, cuts back to the right. Touchdown. Adam Albertini zigs and zags through everyone
Did what Adam Albertini does.
and returns that punt. 38 yards for a touchdown for the Indians. I believe he took that right at the 38, close to midfield, Mike. Good punt that time, straight into Albertini's hands. He was under duress, had to slip a would-be tackler right off right when he caught the football. Started to his right, went to his left, back to his right. He went left and right quite a few times. Albertini up under center, Easton Dent at fullback, Chandler Bradshaw at tailback. I formation for the Indians. Up under center is Albertini. Here comes the snap. It's going to be roll out to his right, has his man back there, Dent, and extra point is good. 5:49 left to go here in the first period, 24-0, Indians lead. We'll be back after this 1 minute timeout. You listen to St. Paul football on Hot 105. Yes, sir.
Yep.
Yeah, you're doing good. I'll call for commercial. If you're not there, we'll just continue on. So we'll just play it that way. Thank everybody for joining us on the live stream. We're talking to Mark back in the studio. He's running around trying to take care of the Humboldt game and ours.
Mark's the hardest working guy in radio tonight, I think.
Had a little miscommunication. Welcome back. Indians off to a hot start. They lead 24-0 here at Miles Field in St. Paul. Murillo short kick this time. McDiffitt comes up about the 10. Now he drops it. Ball's on loose on, picks it up to the 15. Cuts back to the right. Avoids a couple of Indians now. Easton Dent comes from behind. As Dent went down the field, missed him the first time. Stayed with his hustle, turned around and came back and chased him from behind and knocks him down at his own 23-yard line. First and 10 for the Jaguars from their 23.
You know what, Dan? It's bad enough to get hit by Easton Dent when you see him coming, but, man, when he comes from behind like that, wow, that was a good hit.
First and 10 for the Jaguars at their own 23-yard line. Smith in the pistol. Two receivers to the right, two to the left. He awaits the snap. Here comes the snap. Rolls to his right, looking across the middle. Now he's going to scramble. Dent in chase. He gets by him. He's just one man to beat, and Albertini finally knocks out of bounds. Good run by Smith around the right side. Good for Hartford, first down, as the Hartford Jaguars spreading the Indians out.
Did you see what Smith did there? He kind of faked like he wanted the receiver to go out, and the defense bit on it, and that gave him a little time and busted him loose.
All the way down to the Indians' 34-yard line. First and 10 for the Jaguars into Indians territory for the second time tonight. Two receivers to the right, two to the left. Smith with some speed as he got around that right side. Smith, just a freshman, Mike, playing well here tonight.
Smart.
In the pistol, back to pass, looking across the middle, throws it late, and it's going to be falls incomplete. It'll be second down and 10. Good coverage by the Indians on the play. Second down and 10 for the Jaguars at the Indian 34-yard line. Indians lead 24-0, 5:27 left to go in the first. Clock stopped with the incomplete pass. Two receivers to the right, two to the left. Smith in the pistol. I think the game plan now is to spread the Indians out, and if Smith don't have a target to throw to, he's just going to scramble. Right. Smith with a slip screen off to the right. Hit hard by Chandler Bradshaw, and he's pumped up. Good hit by Chandler. And it's a complete pass, but a short. Now there's a flag on the play. Flag on the play sits at midfield. No, I think it's a holding on Hartford. See if the Indians take this. I think they probably will. Yeah, Coach Watcher going to take it. It'll replay second down. It was number 14, Soul, with the reception, the young sophomore. On that slip screen, Bradshaw comes up, lays the hammer on him. It wasn't much gain on the play, but instead of 3rd and 10, the Indians elect for second and 20. Now Hartford back in their own territory at their own 36. Smith in the pistol, 2 to the right, 1 to the left. Drops way back to pass, going to throw it deep. Now he pulls it down, recocks, under pressure, now throws across the middle, and it's well short of anyone. He waited way too long to throw that football. And it'll be 3rd down and 20 for the Jaguars. 5:01 left to go here in the first period. Indians lead 24-0. Jaguars pinned back at their 34-yard line. Was into Indian territory off the good run by Smith.
They're at their 36.
36.
Yeah, I was losing track too.
Sorry.
I was trying to figure out where they was at.
That's my bad. I knew it was a 36. Just the ball's on the other side of the line. It'll be 3rd down and 3rd down and 20 for the Jaguars. 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Smith in the pistol. That's what I was trying to say. Back to pass. Under a little bit of pressure. Dent misses him. Now he's going to scramble around the right side. He's got some running room. Here comes Albertini. Oh, man, he hits him hard.
That was when a solid force hit an immovable object there, Dan.
Boy, you could hear that was on clear on the other end side of the field, and you could hear it all the way up here. But Smith pops up off the ground, seems to be fine. It's going to have a good 10-yard gain for Smith on the scramble. It's going to be 4th down and 10.
Now they're up to the 34 again, right?
I think it was shoulder pad to shoulder pad, but it sure did make a loud pop all the way up here in the booth. 2 to the right, 1 to the left. 4th down and 10. Ball now back into Indian territory. Down to their 34. Smith back to pass. Got a lot of time. Going to throw it deep across the middle. And it's going to be picked off again by Chandler Bradshaw. Bradshaw and Albertini both run into each other. Bradshaw returns it back up to the 30. Bradshaw and Albertini both had a bead on that football. And right when Bradshaw picks it off, Albertini runs into him. Bradshaw runs it for a 12-yard return, 1st and 10 for the Indians, up to their 29-yard line. 4:12 left to go in the first period. Indians lead 24-0. Indians rolling so far here tonight. Playing well on both sides of the football, Mike.
Yeah. Ball's at the St. Paul 29. Is that right?
Yes.
Trying to keep stats down here.
Ball is at St. Paul 29. In the pistol is Albertini. Bunch of receivers set to the left. Now Dent goes in motion from left to right. Back to pass is Albertini. Rolls to the right. See if he's going to hit Dent. He tries to. Throws it deep. Dent back there and just out of bounds. Good attempt as Dent catches it, but he couldn't get a foot down. The football carried him out of bounds. He catches it, but he lands about a yard out of bounds with his feet. It'll be 2nd down and 10. Good coverage by number 50. Goodman running with Dent, the sophomore, down the sideline. The linebacker. Dent's a big boy, but number 50's bigger, and he was running right with Dent. Dent catches that football on a diving catch, but was unable to get a foot down. Clock stop, 4:05 left to go in the first period. Indians lead 24-0.
St. Paul trying to throw the ball a little bit on their own side.
2nd down and 10, ball at their own 29. Albertini in the pistol, Dent set to his right. Albertini runs the option. He's going to hand it to Dent, and not much running room for Dent. He's going to gain a yard, maybe 2. And it'll bring up a big 3rd down for the Indians. Looks like now they spot it as the down marker now moves. 3rd down, let's call it 3rd down and 8. Had about an inch of rain here in St. Paul over the last few days. Little Bermuda sod chunks coming up in the air. Timeout, St. Paul with that. We'll try to take a 30-second timeout. Let's St. Paul football on Hot 105. We'll go ahead and stay here during this timeout. 3rd down and 8 for the Indians when we come back from this timeout. The ball is now spotted across the 30 up to their own 31-yard line. 3:30 left to go here in the first period. Indians lead 24-0.
All overall, pretty solid first half, first period of football here by the St. Paul Indians. Looking pretty good on offense and defense, offense especially. Matter of fact, special teams not looking too bad with Albertini returning that punt. But St. Paul overall doing a good job up front, especially putting some pressure. Hartford comes out trying to throw the ball against, obviously watched some film and seen that there's a little bit more opportunity for success, I think, if you're throwing the ball against St. Paul, but not tonight. St. Paul defense been all over it with the 2 interceptions. Those turnovers are big, and you just can't afford to give those up, especially when you're down by 24 points like Hartford is. We'll see coming out of this timeout, if St. Paul can add to that, what they got in store here. Coach Watry drawing up something here as we go into the closing 3 minutes or so of the first quarter.
3rd down and 8. Indians break huddle. 2 receivers wide to the right is Hayden Smith. Chandler Bradshaw in the pistol is Albertini. Set to his left is Easton Dent. See if Albertini runs out behind Dent. Dent goes in motion. Yes, Albertini's going to keep it around that right side. Has some running room. Cuts back to the right. Flag thrown. Albertini's going to break loose. Puts a move down. It goes out of bounds, clear into Hartford territory at the 33, but there's a flag on the play.
Be a hold, I believe,
and they're going to get Gib Carter, I believe, for holding on the play as he shakes his head and walks back to the huddle. That'll back him up 10 yards. The flag is thrown right at the 31, so it'll basically bring up 4th down and 18 for the Indians. Now they're backed up to their own 19, right at their own 20-yard line. Call it 3rd down and 18. A big 3rd down play off the Albertini 1st down run gets negated by a holding penalty against the Indians. Look for a little ad lib here. Look for the Indians maybe to spread them out, give the RPO the run pass option to Albertini. Same set, 2 receivers wide to the right. Albertini in his pistol. Easton Dent set to his left. Dent goes in motion from left to right. Albertini's going to keep it again off the right side. Same exact play. Back to the middle. A lot of running room. 40, 30, 25, 20, 15, 10,
no
5.
Flags this time.
Touchdown. Looks like it's clean on the field. And great blocking by the Indians' line of scrimmage as everybody had their man pinned off. And Albertini runs that in for the Indians' touchdown on a 3rd down and 19. And the Indians now lead 30-0.
We'll give him about 70 yards on that, Dan, at their own 20-yard line. How about 60 yards? We'll give him 60.
That probably works out with the math a little better. Mike, 60-yard touchdown run by Adam Albertini on the 3rd down and 19. Credit his line of scrimmage for the great blocking. It looked good from up here coming right at us. In the eye for the extra point. Albertini up under center. Chandler Bradshaw at fullback. Easton Dent at tailback. Hand off to Dent. Puts his shoulder pads down. He's going to be chopped down. Did he make it in there is the thing. And they're going to call it no good. He's short of the goal line. And the Indians hold to a 30-0 lead. 2:50 left to go in the first. We'll be back after this 1-minute timeout. Let's St. Paul football on Hot 105. Just one, buddy. You're doing great. You're doing good. Oh, welcome back to Miles Field here in St. Paul. St. Paul leads 30-0. Still 2:50 left to go in the first quarter. Murillo with the ball teed up. Cold night. Murillo's kicks not been carrying quite so good. Taken by McDiffit at the 5. 10, 15, across the 20, running hard. Still on his feet. Now up to the 23 and finally goes down as Dent in on the tackle. I think Austin O'Hara comes up off the pile. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Jaguars back at the own 24-yard line. If you're here on the live stream, I want to thank everybody for joining us on the live stream. Into playoff now, Keisha, you have to fill out paperwork and pay to be on the live stream. Thank Farmers Bank, Joe and Josh, if you see them, for bringing the live stream.
That's right.
And
a lot
continue
of people on
that.
there. Appreciate that.
If you hear Mike and I talking to the studio during commercial break, don't worry about it. If you don't know the setup, there's 3 stations in one building over there at Chanute, and Mark is running back and forth trying to keep Humboldt game on the air and us on the air, and so he's getting his exercise tonight. Two receivers wide to the right, one to the left for the Jaguars. Handoff up the middle, got some running room. Big running back, number 33. He's going to have a good 7-8 yard gain on the play. That's Stook, the sophomore. Just one senior on the squad for Hartford, Mike.
Yeah, it's pretty young team there for Hartford, which bodes well for them going forward because overall doing a pretty good job. They're just, had a few breaks go against them really and haven't been able to put some of those pass plays together, but look pretty solid.
Second down and 3. Down marker still says first, but it's second down and 3. Two receivers to the right, one to the left. In the pistol is Smith. One receiver stuck set to his right. Snap goes over his head. Now he just jumps on it back at the 23-yard line. Should bring up. I hope we don't give him extra down because we're one behind. It is third down and 12 for the Jaguars. See if the official catches it. It is third down and 11 for the Jaguars, now back at their own 23. It is third down, and now we get her squared away. Third down and 11. 1:30 left to go here in the first period. 30-0, Indians lead. Big third down play for the Jaguars and for the Indians defense. Two receivers wide to the right, one to the left. Smith in the pistol. Stook set to his right. Here's a snap right to him this time. Rolls back, throws across the middle, high. Picked off by Hayden Smith on the ricochet. Smith down to the 10, 5, touchdown.
Wow. Threw it into traffic there, and Hayden Smith was right in the middle of the traffic, came down with the football. Everybody, I think, was surprised.
Well, he was surprised, Mike, because it caromed off of one of the Indians players right back to him. I think it hit Chase Bradshaw in the shoulder pads and bounced right back to Smith, who was about 5 yards ahead of him, into Smith's hands, and he, Johnny on the spot, runs her in for the 30-yard pick six and takes the score up to 36-0 for the Indians.
Yeah, that's Hayden Smith's second pick six of the year.
Smith took it down the right sideline, turned on the gas. Smith with some speed gets in for the pick six. In the eye are the Indians. Bradshaw fullback, Easton Dennett tailback. Adam Albertini up under center. Here comes the snap on the extra point. Pitch to Dent around the right side, looking for some room. Cuts back, leans towards the goal line.
I think he got it.
And they're going to call him short on the play.
I thought he fell across the line.
His knee must have went down before he got across the line. I think his shoulder pads ended across the line, but he didn't quite get there, so the score remains 36-0. We'll go ahead and stay here. 1:05 left to go here in the first period. Thank you very much.
See what the Indians can do now coming back off that. Still in the first quarter, 36 points. Not a bad showing. First round of the playoffs for the Indians.
It's nice to be up here in the cover. Winds died down. It's a beautiful night for football outside. Flag just hanging straight down, not a breath of air. About 30 degrees out, so I'm sure the boys are leathered up and warmed up and excited, got the adrenaline running as they lead 36-0 in week 9 here. 1:05 left to go here in the first period. Indians up 36-0. Still 1:05 left to go in the first period. Slow moving first period with all the passing by the Jaguars.
The clock really moving slow, that's for sure.
Murillo with the ball teed up. As now Adam Albertini on the sideline during this kickoff. See if Coach Watrick starts rotating. Drive and kick. Going to be taken this time. Different returner back at the 5, 10, 15. Soul has some run room. Hit at about the 24-yard line. Brought down. Kaiser Watrick in on the play. And a return up to the 27. So good field position. That return ran up there by Soul, the sophomore.
Just to run down, Dan, how the kickoff's been going for Hartford. They've started their drives here in the first quarter on the 15, the 20, the 24, the 23, and the 24 again, now up to the 29 or 27-yard line. So as good as they've had, really, in this first quarter.
In the pistol, different quarterback, I think, back there. I can't see the number. They're straight in front of us. At the 29, it's going to be Soul on the carry around the left side, looking for some run room. Indians bottle him up. Short gain on the play, gain of 1. It'll be second down and 9. Ball spotted right at their own 30-yard line.
Soul's
Just short of the 30, nose of the football, touching the 30.
Soul's got some size on him, but it's only his second carry of the game. He's only got 4 yards on the ground. Of course, they've been throwing the ball, too.
Shaden Soul, a sophomore, like I said earlier, a very young team, just one senior on the roster for Hartford. Soul, I believe, in the pistol again. He waits the snap. 2 slot receivers going to keep it off the right side this time. This time they're in the running attack off the right side of the line. Short gain on the play, gain of 2. It'll be 3rd down and call it 7. Ball now up to the Jaguar 32.5-yard line. That's going to be the end of the first quarter. St. Paul leads 36-0 after the end of 1. We'll be back after this 1-minute timeout. You're to St. Paul football on Hot 105. We'll go ahead and stay here during this quarter break. I want to thank everybody for joining us on the live stream. Looks like we got a lot tuned in there, Mike.
Yeah, I got quite a good viewership there going on the live stream. Appreciate everybody turning in, especially appreciate, like you mentioned, Dan, appreciate Farmers Bank sponsoring that live stream. When you hit the playoffs, you got to have a sponsor in order to put that out, and so we appreciate them stepping up and doing that. They have all year. They're always good for stepping up with anything that anyone needs, so appreciate that. Also appreciate them sponsoring the game along with our other sponsors.
We'll go ahead and take a 30-second timeout. You're listening to St. Paul football on Hot 105. Welcome back to Miles Field here in St. Paul. 3rd down and 9 for Hartford as they switch sides here at quarter break. Start of the second quarter. In the pistol is Soul. Oh, no, 3rd down and 7, excuse me. He's going to keep it around the right side, looking for some run room. Here comes Albertini. Chops him down after a short gain. It's going to be a gain of a couple. It's going to be 4th down and 5. We're going to call it 4th down and 5. Ball spotted at their own 36-yard line. See what the Jaguars elect to do here to do a 4th down and 4, let's call it. Now Smith comes back in the game for the Jaguars. Smith has been their passing quarterback. See what the Jaguars do here. They're going to go for it on 4th down and 4 from their own 36. Smith in the pistol. 3 slot receivers to the right. Now motion from left to right. Double reverse. Soul's got it. Gibb Carter over there. Nowhere to go for him.
Didn't fool anybody on that reverse.
Gibb Carter and someone else a little slow to get off.
Bradshaw.
Up is Chase Bradshaw. Looks like he got a little rolled an ankle or something. Trying to walk it off. St. Paul takes over 1st and 10. First and 10 for the Indians from the 35. From the Jaguar 36-yard line. Albertini breaks huddle. Comes up under center. I formation. Chandler Bradshaw at fullback. Easton Dent at tailback. Hand off to Dent. Left side's got some running room right up the gut. He goes down to the left. Outruns everyone. 36-yard touchdown run. Easton Dent. And the Indians go out to a 42-0 lead. 11:03 left to go here in the first half.
I'm going to put him on the 34, Dan, looks like.
Cheating him out of 2 yards, Mike.
Cheating him out of 2.
34-yard touchdown. That's the official stats.
That's right.
Off that I formation, nobody touched Dent off that left side. Trivia question for you, Mike. My Aunt Dorothy is watching on the live stream, and she wants to know if those are the flags that she made back when Blake and Jarvis and all them guys was playing football.
Well,
I formation on the extra point. Bradshaw at fullback, Easton Dent at tailback. Hand off to Dent, left side. Showed this time he wasn't going to be denied. And to answer that question, I believe they are, because they've been around forever. The flags, that is. St. Paul out to a 44-0 lead. 11:03 left to go here in the first half. Stick around for our KW Trucking postgame show at the conclusion of this game. Just so everybody knows, St. Paul comes in as the number 1 seed, District 1. District 1, or all the first place district winners, host the first round game in Week 9. That's this game. If the Indians are able to advance, the higher seed will host the next game. And if St. Paul was to win, that means they would host next Friday night. And they would, if they were to win, they would host either Waverly or Marmonton Valley.
You know, can't think of much better than hosting playoff games, Dan. It really helps a lot, especially when you get a crowd. Got a good crowd out here tonight, out here supporting the Indians. Got a good crowd watching them on the live stream. And you got support like that and playing a home game, you know, you got a lot going for you.
And Waverly is the number 2 seed in District 2. After that, it goes to the East-West formula. The furthest East team will host the third round as long as you have not hosted more home games than the opposing team. So then it gets a little more tricky after that. Clear as mud, Mike?
Yep, kind of like putting it up on the wall, throw darts at it.
So I guess is what I'm trying to tell you is if the Indians are able to advance the first couple weeks, they have a good chance at playing 3 home games in a row because there's not too many schools east of us.
No.
Good kick by Murillo, taken by Soul at the 5 and just belted down there. Now Austin O'Hara, good hit on the play. O'Hara brings him down. And it's going to be 1st and 10 for the Jaguars back at their own
16, 15?
20, 16. It is hard to see the lines on that end of the football field. I'm going to call it the 17-yard line, Mike.
17.
Yeah, I believe you're closer, though. I think it is about the 15.
Make note of that,
1st and 10 for the Jaguars. One receiver wide to the right. Smith in the pistol. Soul set behind him. Here comes the snap. He's going to run the option off to the right. He's going to keep it. Almost loses the football, and then Gib Carter comes in and wraps him up. See what kind of gain. Looks like maybe a gain of 1 on the play. 2nd down and 9 for the Jaguars. No gain on the play. 2nd and 10 for the Jaguars back at their own 16-yard line. We'll go with Mr. O'Brien. He says 2nd down and 10 from the 17.
Sounds good to me.
He is official scoreboard operator, so we'll stick with him. 1 to the right, 1 to the left. Back to Pat. No, Soul runs it around. Looked like he was going to pull it down or try to throw it, but he pulls it down and runs. Short gain on the play. It's going to bring up 3rd down for the Jaguars.
Just not able to get much going on offense.
I can't really tell how far it is.
You stand up there, boys. Get the chain gang over there kind of leaned over. It's hard to tell where his
I think the chain gang.
They do a good job.
Do a good job all year long. James E. Ward, always loyal and helping out. Matt O'Hara and I believe Joe Renfro over there. 3rd down and 9. Back to pass is Smith. Rolls off to his left, looking downfield, throws it back across the middle, and almost picked off by Dent. Knocks it down, incomplete. It'll be 4th down and 9 for the Jaguars, pinned back at their own 18-yard line.
Good defense there by Dent.
Clock stops off the incompletion. 4th down and 9. 9:28 left to go in the second period. 44-0. Another good game east of us here tonight. I know Frontenac
and Girard tonight.
And Girard playing tonight. That's a tough opening round matchup for the Trojans. In the pistol, going for it here, pinned way back in their own territory. Smith going to throw it deep down the middle. Albertini's the only one back there. Picks it off. Albertini from the 40, 30, 25, 20. Turns on the gas. One man to beat. And nobody's going to catch him. Another pick 6 for the Indians as Albertini returns it for a 40-yard pick 6. And the Indians now up 50-0.
Man, turnover touchdowns has been as much as the offensive touchdowns tonight.
A few subs come in the game. Kaiser Watrick comes into the game for this extra point. Landon Beechner getting will come in and do the quarterback duties on the extra point. Beechner comes into the huddle. Beechner up under center, I formation, Dent at fullback, Kaiser Watrick at tailback. Hand off to Watrick, left side, looking for some run room. Now tries to get to the angle, going to rip down by number 20. Good tackle by Navarro, the sophomore. So the extra point is no good. Indians stick to their 50-0 lead, 9:01 left to go here in the second period.
Yeah.
We'll be back. We'll take a 30-second timeout if Mark's in there. We'll be back after this 30-second timeout. Let's St. Paul football on Hot 105. Doing good.
Doing good, Mark. We appreciate your work. You're doing a good job.
Yeah, doing good. You've only missed one, I think. I'm pretty impressed.
Oh, yeah?
All right.
All right.
Welcome back. 50-0. Indians lead. 9:01 left to go here in the second period. If you want to pull up and follow the Indians through the playoffs, or anyone for that matter, just go to the K-Show website, click on the athletic and into football, and you can pull any bracket you want. 8-man clear up through 6A. Murillo's kick this time trickles into the end zone, so Murillo gets a touchback. A little harder kicking here on a cold night for Murillo, doing a good job. Consistently went down to the 5-yard line. This time it rolls into the end zone, so it'll be first and 10 for Hartford at their own 15. Hartford calls our final timeout. We'll go ahead and stick here, Mike. Good football game here tonight.
Yeah, it is, Dan. I'll tell you, I'm most impressed, I think, tonight with St. Paul's defensive play, obviously with the turnovers and especially the pick sixes. They've had 3 of those tonight, and I think, compared to earlier in the season, that's probably the facet of the game where I've seen the most improvement out of St. Paul. They've really stepped it up, and that pass defense struggled a little bit early on in the season, but they've really done the work, you can tell, and worked on that hard in practice, come around and playing a pretty solid all-around defensive game now up front. They're tough against the run, and now obviously against that pass, they've really stepped things up and putting on a good show. Special teams as well with Murillo. We saw Coach Watrick a couple of times there in that game kicking some extra points, so not afraid to use his kicker either. I think the Indians are going to be a handful for anybody that they're up to face, and we'll see how it goes on here, but it looks pretty good right now.
First and 10 for Hartford, back at their own 15. Smith in the pistol. 2 receivers wide to the right for the Jaguars. Running back set to his right. Back to pass is Smith. Looks across the middle. Now rolls to his right. Looking. Now under pressure by Dent. He's going to be, he throws it late. He was in the grass, but Dent, I don't know if they called him, if they're going to give it an incomplete pass or if it's going to be a sack. I don't know that they signaled to stop the clock. I think it's a sack. And Dent gets in there and gets Smith. It's going to be a 7-yard loss. That'll keep the clock running with 8:44 left to go here before halftime. And the Indians lead 50-0. Second down and 16 now, back inside their own 10 is the Jaguars. They come up to the line of scrimmage from their own 9. Call it the 8. 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. In the pistol is Smith. 1 running back set to his right. Back to pass is Smith. Again, looks across the middle. Now he rolls to his right. Now throws back to the right. Hayden Smith back there, and it goes over the head of the intended receiver. Pass was intended for Navarro, the sophomore. Falls incomplete. It's going to bring up third down and 16.
I got Smith at just 1 for 5 in the passing department, really. That 42-yarder, his first pass of the game, and other than that, he's come up empty.
It'll be a big third down and 16 for the Indian defense. Jaguar pin back at their own 9. Smith in the pistol, 2 receivers wide to the right, 1 to the left. Nobody back there with him. Now motion from left to right. Now a little slip screen across the middle, goes right through the hands of number 10, McDiffett, and falls incomplete. It'll be fourth down and 16 from their own 9.
Indians got a little break there. McDiffett across the middle on that little screen pass. was in pretty good position. If he could have hauled it in, he had a little bit of room to run there. Had him spread out in the backfield.
It'll be a fourth down and 16 back at their own 8-yard line. Let's see what Hartford does here. McDiffett looks to be like he's going to be in punt formation. Stands about his own goal line.
It's only the second time we've seen him punt. The first time didn't go so well. We'll see if he can do better.
Here comes the snap. Good snap. Not much pressure. A little bit of pressure by Gib Carter. Watrick chases it down, picks it up at the 28, spins away from the first guy, goes back to the right. Now he's going to be run down there, dragged down by the jersey by number 14, Soul. No gain on the return, no yards on the return. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Indians from their own 28-yard line.
Indians offense on the field now. 7:56 left to go here in the second quarter. Key now is just to get to halftime. You got a 50-point lead. You want to get to halftime. So if it's me, I'm going to try and eat that clock up. But at the same time, you got Dent and Albertini, so extra points wouldn't hurt either.
Albertini still in the game. Dent also. Albertini in the pistol. Dent set to his left. Chandler Bradshaw slot to the left. 1st and 10 from the Indians. Albertini's going to keep it, and he's going to be wrapped up and brought down. A loss on the play. And it's going to be a loss back to his own 24-yard line. Loses his shoe on the play. It'll be 2nd down and 15. Indians running the option. He probably should have gave it to Dent, pulled it out, and loses yardage on the play. 2nd down and 15 for the Indians. Good play by Hartford. Ball now back at the Indians' 23-yard line. Clock running. 7:18 left to go in the first half. Indians lead 50-0. In the pistol is Albertini. Set to his right is Dent. Slot to the right is Chandler Bradshaw. Here comes the snap. This time Dent gets it right up the middle, bottled up there. He's going to get a yard or two. It'll bring up a big 3rd down and 14 for the Indians, give him a gain of 1. Good defensive stand by Hartford against the Indians. 3rd and 14, ball back at the 24 of the Indians. 6:42 left to go in the first period. Indians lead 50-0. Beautiful night here at Miles Field. A little chilly. In the pistol is Albertini. Set to his left is Dent. Slot to the right is Bradshaw. Here comes the snap. Option. Back to pass. Albertini across the middle. Flips it. Has his man. Chase Bradshaw. 40, 30, 25, 21 man to beat. Cuts back. And he's chased down from behind and cut down at the 4-yard line.
No flags.
1st and goal for the Indians.
Where are they going to spot that? Where's their box at?
Looks like it's going to be spotted about the 6-yard line. 1st and goal for the Indians from the Jaguars 6. First and goal, Beechner comes into the game. Kaiser Watrick's also into the game. Easton Dent remains in the game.
Call it a 50-yard pass play, Dan.
Should be 16 and, 50-yard pass play. Handoff off the left side. Easton Dent drives for the goal line. Touchdown, Indians. As Dent gets in for the 6-yard touchdown lunge across the goal line. Peyton Norris comes into the game for the Indians, pending the extra point. Hayden Smith comes out. 5:36 left to go in the second period. Indians extend their lead to 56-0. What's the score of that Humboldt game, Mark? 44-0. Humboldt leads.
Humboldt's rolling too.
From back at the studio. Handoff. Oops, it's going to be a penalty flag. Play is stopped on the extra point. False start against the Indians. It was going to go to Vincent Smith, who was in the game. And it's going to be a 5-yard penalty, so it'll be a 7.5-yard extra point try for the Indians. Let's see if maybe they'll kick it here. No, they're going to go ahead and run a play.
That's
extra point now backed up to the 7.5.
3rd rushing touchdown for Easton Dent tonight, too. He's been on a touchdown tear the last couple of games.
Split back formation. Vincent Smith to the left, Kaiser Watrick to the right. Landon Beechner up under center. Here comes the snap. Beechner back to pass. Throws it late. Has his man, Chase Bradshaw, complete on the extra point as Beechner gets knocked down as he throws it. And 58-0, St. Paul leads. 5:36 left to go before halftime. We'll be back after this 1-minute timeout. You're listening to St. Paul football on Hot 105. It's kind of like a one-man race here. Thank everybody for.
Usually take a 2-minute if we can. Give me time to do my math, and then come back and we'll do it. Probably all. You want to do it all in one?
Yeah, that'd be fine. Everybody stick around here. 5:36.
Okay. Yeah.
Welcome back. St. Paul leads 58-0. Driving kick by Murillo as he gets warmed up, and it goes into the end zone. Touchback. First and 10 for the Jaguars from their own 15. St. Paul leads 58-0. 5:36 left to go here in the second period.
Jaguars just haven't had much to work with as far as field position, and it's really, handicapped what they've been able to do offensively. And had to throw the ball as much as they can, and that's cost them at least 3 times some points.
I want to thank everybody for joining us on the live stream, brought to you by Farmers Bank. And get into postseason, you got to thank Farmers Bank for allowing, paying the extra money for Acacia to get into the playoffs and live stream the playoffs. So hopefully we continue to do that if St. Paul advances. Double pass, and it is picked up by Chandler Bradshaw.
Wow.
Bradshaw down to 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown.
Man, isn't that something?
Holy smokes. Double pass attempted by the Hartford Jaguars. And Bradshaw tipped it to himself 3 times, brought it down, and goes down that right side or left side of the sideline and gets in for another pick 6. How many is that, Mike?
That's 4.
4 pick 6s.
And I think it's 2 for Chandler.
And 2. Well, I guess Chase Bradshaw on the interception was chopped down about the 6-yard line, so there wasn't all pick 6s, but intercepted that time by Chandler Bradshaw. First in, or extra point pending here, 5:24. St. Paul leads 64-0. Landon Beechner up under center. Split back formation by the Indians. Vincent Smith, Kaiser Wattrick. Vincent Smith trying that right-hand side, going to be bottled up. I don't think he did not make it in there. Extra point is no good, so the score remains 64-0, 5:24 left to go for halftime. We'll go ahead and stay here during this break. Quick score by the Indians as Hartford on first down tries to throw a double pass, and Chandler Bradshaw picks it up and runs it back.
Yeah, 64 points matches the point total they put on last year in this same contest, first-round playoff game. So Hartford, almost 5.5 minutes left. Opportunity to try and get some points on the board. Last year, if you remember, I believe the score was 64-14, 62-14 maybe it was.
And just awfully efficient by the Indians,
It
Mike,
is,
tonight.
yeah.
It's not like Indians are trying to run this score up or anything. It's just that Jaguars' attempt to pass at that time on a double pass, and the D-backs by the Indians doing a better job here tonight and doing a good job of getting their hands on that football. And when you catch it, you about got to run with it. So another pick 6 for the Indians gets the score up to 64-0. Murillo right back, getting a workout here tonight, Mike.
Yeah, that's really something. I don't know if I've ever seen that many pick 6s in a game.
All right, Murillo has the ball teed up. Back deep for the Jaguars, stands about his own 5. This time it's going to roll towards the sideline. It's going to roll out of bounds at the 9-yard line. So a rare kick by Murillo goes out of bounds about the 9. Now the Jaguars will have the option to back Murillo up 5 yards or take it at the 30, I believe. Let's see what they opt to do. As they are going to take it, at their own 25-yard line. Defense takes the field again for the Indians. 1st and 10 for the Jaguars from their own 25-yard line. 5:24 left to go here in the first half. St. Paul leads 64-0. Up to the line of scrimmage comes the Jaguars. They stick with this receiver set to the right, one to the left. Let's see if maybe they got that big fullback set to the right of Smith. See if maybe they hand it to him this time. Smith awaits the pistol. Now motion from left to right. High snap. Smith reels it in. Under pressure. Throws it late. It's going to be caught. Good catch. And he's going to be brought down. That's number 10, McDiffett. And it's going to be a short gain on the play. Good defense by the Indians, keeping it to a short gain. A gain of, let's call it 3. 2nd down and 7 for the Jaguars. Now the ball up to the 28-yard line. Call 2nd down and 6, Mike. A gain of 4 on the play. Smith comes in from the sideline with the play. Under 5 minutes left to go in the first half. At the conclusion of the half here, we would assume that will be the ball game. Stick around for our KW Trucking post-game show. We'll take a couple-minute time out and let Mike add all these stats up.
Not hard to add pick sixes.
Get his calculator out. And the pistol is Smith. 2 to the right, 1 to the left. 2nd down and 6 for the Jaguars. Motion from left to right by McDiffett. That time knocked away by Murillo. Got his big mitt up in the air, knocked that down. And it'll bring up 3rd down and 6. Clock stops, 4:25 left to go in the second period. Indians lead 64-0. It appears as though the Indians will play the winner between Waverly and Mormonton Valley, who is playing right now at Waverly. 3rd down and 6 for the Indians, or for the Jaguars, back at their own 28-yard line. Taking quite a bit of time in the huddle here. See if the count starts. 2 receivers wide to the left this time. A little different look as they're stacked up, one behind the other. In the pistol is Smith. One running back set to his right. Now motion from left to right. He fakes it to the right. Now he rolls to his right. Under chase. And he's going to be brought down from behind by Austin O'Hara. Good hustle by O'Hara, bringing Smith down from behind.
O'Hara showing a little speed there.
And he's going to get up across the 35 to the 36. Going to bring up a big 4th down and 4. No flags on the play. 4th and 4 for the Jaguars at their own 36-yard line.
That would be
Kaiser Watrick comes into the game for.
They're at the 36, so that would be a 1st down, Dan.
Oh, excuse
me. 31. They're at the
31, excuse me. Sorry. Can't see the yard markers. There's too many Indians standing in the way. 4th down and 4 from their own 31. I should look at the scoreboard, Mr. O'Brien, to keep me straight. 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Smith in the pistol. Rolls back to pass. Straight back. Across the middle. Off the fingertips of his intended receiver. Number 10, McDiffett. And it falls incomplete. St. Paul will take over on downs. 1st and 10 from the Jaguar 31, Mike.
Yeah, Bradshaw had he had a chance at it. Kind of bounced out in front of him off the receiver's hands. But
let's see if the Indians just try to keep the ball on the ground here and run this the last 3 minutes, 29 seconds out. Vincent Smith into the game. Gib Carter out of the game. Chandler Bradshaw out of the game. Landon Beechner hustles in with the play. 1st and 10 for the Indians from the Jaguar 31. In the I formation, Vincent Smith at fullback, Kaiser Watrick at tailback. Watrick back there deep now. Coach Watrick scoots him up. Here comes the snap. Pitch to Watrick. Tries to cut back to the middle, and he's bottled up there. Nowhere to go. No gain on the play. 2nd down and 10.
Like he lost a yard.
You're going to lose a yard. 2nd down and 11. Ball back. 32.5-yard line, maybe to the 33. Beechner comes in. Hayden Smith comes out of the game. See who maybe slipped in there. Peyton Norris slips into the game at right tight end. I formation again. Vincent Smith at fullback. Watrick at tailback. Here comes the snap. Vincent Smith, left side. A little bit of running room. Puts a shoulder pad down. He's going to get that 2 yards they lost. Maybe 3 back. It'll be 3rd down and 9. 2 minutes, 35 seconds left to go in the game in the first half. Indians lead 64-0. We got used to playing halftime games, Mike. I say in
Yeah.
the game, and it's just the
Yeah.
second quarter. Third down and 9 for the Indians at the Jaguar 30. I formation. Smith at fullback. Watrick at tailback. Hand off to Watrick. He's got some running room. Gets to the outside on the right side. 20, 15, 10, and
Oh,
whipped
just-
out of
just
bounds at the
short.
10-yard line.
Good run by Kaiser Watrick.
A nice 18-yard first down run by Watrick. And it's going to be down to the 11-yard line. St. Paul still be able, looks like, to get a first down. First and 10 from the 11 of the Jaguars. That time, a lot of running room off that right side. Little counter option. Little counter look as Vincent Smith went to the left and Watrick went to the right. I formation. Smith at fullback. Watrick at tailback. Landon Beechner, another freshman, up under center. Good hard count, and that's going to be a motion on the right tight end. Peyton Norris got a little head start. Might have been a little bit of a slow snap. It's the right tight end. Let's
Sometimes
jump.
that timing just a little bit off when you start making some substitutions in there.
So let's 56-0. Humboldt leads. So they're off to a good start in week 9 as the Cubs look to move on. I formation, Vincent Smith at fullback, Kaiser Watrick at tailback, Landon Beechner up under center. First down and 15 from the 16. Watrick nowhere to go. A host of Jaguars in the backfield and just smothered. Big
Breakdown up
loss on
front
the
that
play. As by time Watrick, you could tell by the time he was going to get the ball, he was going to immediately get tackled. A loss of 5 yards on the play, second down and 20. Now the ball backed up to the 20, around the 20-yard line. 1:01 left to go in the first half. St. Paul leads 64-0. Second down and 20. I formation again. Vincent Smith at fullback. Watrick at tailback. Beechner up under center. Here comes the snap. And pitch to Watrick. Watrick starts his left, cuts back. Now has some running room. There he goes.
Nobody there.
20-yard touchdown run.
Flag,
There's a flag.
flag.
There's a flag at the 15-yard line. Now they throw it down to the
Gonna come
11.
Back, yep.
And it's going to be a holding on the Indians, but that was thrown 10 yards past the line of scrimmage. That's a little further downfield than you usually see a hold called. That should back them up to the 21. It'll be a replay of second down. So it basically moves the ball right back to the line of scrimmage again because it's a spot foul. And it'll still remain second down and 20.
Be a
40 seconds left to go here in the second period.
net gain of about a yard or two.
I formation.
more than that.
Vincent Smith at fullback. Watrick at tailback. Landon Beechner up under center. Beechner up under center. Takes the snap. Pitches it to Watrick around the right side. Looking for some running room. Tries to get to the sideline. He's going to be wrapped up. Spun out of bounds. Short gain on the play. Maybe a gain of a yard or two. Did he stay in bounds? He did stay in bounds. Clock continues to run. Under 30 seconds left to go in the ball game. And that's going to be the ball game as the Indians are going to let the time run out here. We'll stick around for the presentation. I'm not sure what round they call this. Next week is the regional round. Third down and 20. 5 seconds left to go in the first period, and this will be the ball game, folks. St. Paul advances to play the winner of Waverly or Marmonton Valley next Friday night right here at Miles Field. St. Paul wins 64-0. We'll be back with your KW Trucking postgame show after this 2-minute timeout. This is St. Paul football on Hot 105. Oh, it won't be too long. 5-10 minutes.
Probably 5.
5 minutes?
Yeah, 5 or 6.
Yeah, if you got time. 64 nothing. Yeah, if you had those two games, you want to take the over, didn't you? I thank everybody for joining us on the live stream. St. Paul comes out 64 nothing. We'll leave the live stream on for the trophy presentation here. I guess. I don't know that there is in week 9.
I don't know either.
St. Paul finishes up here in week 9. Stick around for our KW Trucking post-game show.
Okay.
All right, I will. Well, welcome back to Miles Field here in St. Paul, where St. Paul comes out victorious in Week 9, first round of the playoffs. They win 64 to nothing over the Hartford Jaguars in a pretty good game put together by the Indians, Mike.
Yeah, it's probably as good a game as we've seen St. Paul play this year, and especially on defense. Boy, the defense was just all over the field, playing hard to the ball. Really, the pass defense especially, Dan, coming up with 4 pick sixes on the night, and, that was really just too much for Hartford to come back from. Now, Hartford never got the chance on offense to start or get the ball, I don't think, ever into St. Paul territory. They got close to midfield and then lost the ball on one of the pick sixes, I believe, to Albertini. But other than that, played mostly on their own end of the field the whole game, and I think that's the big difference. The turnovers and the field position is really just what made it too difficult for Hartford to come over.
Pretty good game put together. Offensive and defenses started right off the bat with a good defensive stand, and the Indians defense forced Hartford to a 3-and-out their first 2 possessions. Well, I think on their third possession they had that one nice pass hookup, but that's about all they got away with here tonight against that Indians defense, Mike.
Yeah, that Indians pass defense, can't say enough about them. That we've seen them have some struggles early on, but like I say, I think they get the game ball. If I'm going to give one out, I'm giving to the St. Paul defensive backfield tonight because they were really a difference maker.
The good part, Mike, is didn't appear to be no injuries come out of tonight.
Yeah,
Adam
really
Albertini looked good on both sides of the football. One more week will just let that bruised knee heal up a little bit more, and maybe with I seen Wilson Smith run up down the sideline. He wasn't suited out, but maybe we get Wilson back here in the next week or 2.
Get Wilson back. Coming in the next round, there's not any easy games now. It's going to be work your way through from here on out. It's just win in advance, survive in advance more than anything. And St. Paul coming away with a big win tonight. You can't expect that, especially as we move forward into the next rounds of the playoffs.
Friday, November the 8th, the Indians move on into the regional round, which will be right here at Miles Field. We assume next Friday night at 7 o'clock will be game time. It's either going to be Waverly or Marmonton Valley, so not neither one, a huge road trip for either one. St. Paul obviously has seen Marmonton Valley if they can happen to get around Waverly. If not, we will see a new foe in Waverly come to town.
Yeah, and they're going to have to be ready for anybody, and that's just the way it is. Coach Watrick always does a good job preparing for those games, gets much film as he can get, and he schemes pretty good, gets things lined up, and he's does his job too, getting these kids ready to play.
Are you ready for stats, Mike?
I'm going to give it a shot. They're going to be unofficial, but we'll see what we come up with.
Everybody's listening to our KW Trucking post-game show. Since we're short of help back in the studio, we're just going to roll right into our final game stats. Mike, what do you got for our KW Trucking post-game show final stats?
Well, again, we always talk other than after his knee injury, Adam Albertini is pretty much a scoring machine for St. Paul. He had 4 total touchdowns on the night. Tonight, he rushed the ball 4 times for 115 yards, had 2 rushing touchdowns. He also he was 2 of 5 passing the ball tonight for 68 yards passing. Chase Bradshaw, his only target. Bradshaw had 2 receptions for 68, but Albertini, besides his 2 rushing touchdowns, also had a punt return for a touchdown, and he had one of the St. Paul pick 6 touchdowns. So 4 overall touchdowns for Adam Albertini on a big night again here in St. Paul. Followed closely, though, by Easton Dent, who's been the workhorse all season long, and he's really come around strong as we move through the later part of the season, putting a lot of yards on the board, yard totals moving the ball on the ground and really stepping up and playing defense hard as well. And a good job tonight by Easton. Easton had 6 carries for 67 yards. He had 3 rushing touchdowns, one for 22 yards. The second one was the 34-yard scamper, and then the 6-yard closer there late in the second quarter. So good night for Easton Dent. Kaiser Watrick carried the ball 4 times for the Indians. A couple losses on some plays where the defensive line of Hartford was able to break through and tackle him for loss. So his net yards doesn't show, but Kaiser had 4 carries, total 10 net yards, and Vincent Smith with a 2-yard carry, 1 carry for 2 yards. The other 2 pick sixes I hadn't mentioned yet. Hayden Smith with one. He had one earlier this year, so pick 6 interception return by Hayden Smith. And then Chandler Bradshaw also with an interception return for a touchdown for St. Paul. St. Paul also had a couple other interceptions. Chase Bradshaw with one of the interceptions made it down to the 5-yard line. Almost was able to put it in. Would have had a double pick 6 night for the Bradshaw boys, but just came up about 5 yards short. But you know, good night overall for the St. Paul Indians. That's the yardage. Now on the other side of the field, I did my best to try and keep some stats for Hartford just so we could, you know, have a little bit of information on them. And they threw the ball a lot. Number 3 was the quarterback Smith. Or was it Smith?
Yes, that's correct. Yes.
Got another Smith there, but Smith threw the ball, did his best to move down the field. He ended up with 7 passes, 46 yards, but he did have the interceptions, 4 interceptions for him. Actually, 6 interceptions, I believe, overall for Smith. And then Soul, number 14, had 6 carries for the Jaguars for a net 4 yards. Couple of losses there on carries because of the good defensive play by the St. Paul Indians. So that's the stats, Dan. I think overall we've talked about it. Best night we've seen all around for the Indians, all facets of the game, offense, defense, and special teams. And hopefully they can keep that momentum up, get another home game next week, and just keep rolling on through as we work our way through the playoffs. Now it's survive or go home. So the Indians know that, and I think they'll continue to work and look forward to next week.
St. Paul does advance to regional play next Friday night here at Miles Field. Next week, it is the higher seed that hosts, and St. Paul will be the higher seed. They will play either Waverly or Marmaton Valley, who is playing tonight at Waverly. So we'll see what happens there, see who the next foe will be for St. Paul as they try to keep, as Mike says, they keep trying to roll right along here. Good night put together by the Indians offensively and defensively. We'll wrap things up here if we can figure out if Mark's in the studio. Mark is in the studio. So, well, thank everybody for listening and joining us on the live stream. Had a good group watching on the live stream here tonight. Join us next week about 6:45, maybe 6:40, 45. We'll come on the air next Friday night around 7 or 6:45 as Waverly or Marmaton Valley will come to town. Thank Mark back in the studio for running back and forth, taking care of the St. Paul game
work,
and Humboldt. Last tally, Humboldt was winning big too. So next Friday night, Humboldt will advance also. So good night. Hopefully, Chanute Blue Comets can move on tomorrow night as Larry pulling double duty, a game tonight and a game tomorrow night, as Chanute will host a game at home tomorrow night. Well, thank everybody for joining us. Thank Mike. We'll see you next Friday night here at Miles Field. St. Paul wins over Hartford 64-0. You've been listening to St. Paul football on Hot 105. Thanks, buddy.
Thanks, Mark.
All right. See you, buddy.